Others in support of this?
Mr. Chair, Josh Milan on behalf of the Alameda County Waste Management Authority, very much in support of the bill, and thanks again to the author for a huge amount of work on the bill. Also, the local enforcement agencies, we believe that the main provision of the bill, the reporting, is essential to have accurate accounting, and urge your aye vote.
Steve Cruz on behalf of San Mateo County in strong support for reasons identified by other supporters, and accurate reporting of information and data protects local governments, ensures the fees are paid properly, and protects ratepayers from increases that might otherwise have to be implemented. Thank you.
Kelly Jensen on behalf of Recology and strong support of the bill.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, Mark Aprea on behalf of Republic Services. We want to commend the author and his staff for working with us and continuing to pledge to work with us for some remaining concerns. We urge your aye vote.
Christian Molina on behalf of the Sierra Club California. We support this bill.
Stacy Heaton, Rural County Representatives of California, also in support of this bill.
Gene Urban on behalf of Waste Management. We've worked diligently with Cal Recycle, diligently with the local enforcement officials. We strongly support the bill. Thank you, Mr. Author.
Michael Pimentel here on behalf of the City and County of San Francisco, as well as the Office of Mayor Ed Lee, in support.
John Dane with the California Resource Recovery Association, in support of the legislation. Thank you.
All right. Opposition to AB 901 by Gordon, co-authored by Williams.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. Josh Walters on behalf of Waste Connections. We have 600 employees here in California across 21 facilities, and we are an oppose unless amended position on this bill. Overall, we think this is a good measure and it gets at the heart of the reporting requirements. What we have specific concerns with is this bill granting authority to certain local jurisdictions, which we think goes too far. Specifically, what this measure does is it says that local governments can go beyond their county borders into other areas and get certain, what we believe is proprietary financial confidential information from other counties outside of their jurisdiction for purposes of enforcing their local fee ordinances. And we think, on balance, given the purpose of it, the local fee ordinance versus this extra county power, we think that's a bridge too far.
Don't you think they're going after violators? I mean, they're not just willy-nilly going outside their jurisdiction, they're looking for violators of the underlying law, right?
My client will concede that. I mean, certainly that, and I think this goes back to Alameda County, and Alameda County has had an ongoing dispute with my client specifically with respect to folks that are transporting waste outside of Alameda County to our facility, which is in neighboring Solano County. But the authority with which the county has is over the haulers within their county, and we're in neighboring Solano County, and they don't have authority over us. And the information that they're seeking specifically, we believe, rises to the level that should be protected. It's a list of our customers. It's a list of information with respect to the specific vehicles. And we believe that Alameda County has the authority over the operators in their jurisdiction to enforce their fee. I mean, if you think about this, I mean, essentially, Alameda County's authority can go anywhere in the state. We're giving them statewide police powers on the fact that a generator picked up a load of waste in Alameda County and took it to somewhere. So if somebody picks up a load of waste in Alameda County and drives it up to El Dorado County and deposits it in El Dorado County, Alameda County now has jurisdiction to come up into El Dorado County to that facility and copy and review their documents, including a list of their customers and a list of other information that we believe is proprietary. So we think that's a bridge too far. We think there's other means available where Alameda County could enforce within the jurisdiction that they have. And this is a narrow provision of this bill that we otherwise think is a good bill. And it also stands in contrast, I think, to the rest of the bill. The rest of the bill, we're looking at recycling information. Amendments have been taken to broaden that information, to make sure that you can't tell specifically what customers that came from. I mean, so we have, with respect to the rest of the bill, a broadening of effort to make sure that we protect it. And then with respect to this very narrow effort on the disposal side, we're really getting into granular detail. And I think it's an inconsistent policy. It's one that my client objects to, and we urge the committee not to move the bill forward as long as it contains this language.
Thank you. Others in opposition to 901 or in defense of Alameda County? No, just kidding, just kidding. Okay. Seeing no other persons that want to comment. Let's bring it back to committee. Do we have additional questions of the author? Did you want to comment on this extraterritorial?
Sure. Well, first of all, I thought Waste Connections already threatened to leave the state already, but I guess they're still around, and apparently my understanding is that it is no surprise that they're here, considering a significant portion of the violations are thought to be from one of their facilities. So just so that you guys know, the 65%, as I said, of mandated reports are late, incomplete, or inaccurate. 126 facilities, nearly 30%, failed to submit annual reports to counties, and 29 facilities never submitted annual reports in 2013 at all. So what kind, do we really want state enforcement and our recycling laws to be so much of a joke that 29 facilities just, don't decide to put reports at all? And my answer is I think we need to make our recycling laws real, and that a basic level of accountability and reporting is part of that.
Other questions of the author? Senator Leno.
Assemblyman, there's a single author's amendment relative to the California Public Records Act, and wanted to see how that amendment impacts the concern from Waste Connections trade secrets, proprietary information comment.
Well, it is definitely an attempt to try to meet the concerns of the industry in general about trade secrets. I can't speak for the opposition, though, whether that is, I think it does not go as far as they wish.
You with CalRecycle?
Yes, Mr. Chair and members, Christine Hironaka, Legislative Director for CalRecycle. We do not have a position on the bill, but we're here to answer any questions and provide technical support. In regards to the trade secrets, so there are existing trade secret protections in the Public Resources Code, as I believe Mr. Astor mentioned, and those would be the proposed reference to the political reform, not political, that's a different PRA, the Public Records Act. So there would be a process by which the department would receive the information, determine whether or not it is confidential and subject to trade secrets, and therefore would not be subject to the Public Records Act.
Right, but there's a state and a federal trade secret protection that requires 19 steps to go through on reverse. Is there anything less than the board would do? I mean, the board would go through that normal procedure that why we protect trade secrets, right? This is
correct. That's the existing Public Resources Code, and we would follow that existing law and existing processes.
Mr. Chair, if I may respond to Senator Leno's question.
Sure.
So the author's amendment does not specifically address our concern, because our concerns with respect to the disposal powers that's the authority that's given to the counties is it specifically lists that they'd be able to get specific information. So the specific information that they're listed to get, including our customer list, vehicle identification number. So because the proposed statute would detail that information, it necessarily wouldn't be protected by the trade secret provisions, as that would be inconsistent with the code. So,
and I wouldn't expect you to be able to speak on behalf of anybody else, but I do see that there's some industry support for the bill. How is it that you might have a difference of opinion with others in the industry on this? I mean, wouldn't you all be in the same situation?
Our principals, continue to have ongoing conversations with this, and I think it's a balancing act for the different companies to determine how comfortable they are with giving up specific information. So I can tell you that my client is very uncomfortable with the level of information required under this.
Mr. Chair, I see that Mr. Urban is
on behalf of Waste Management.
Present and accountable.
Mr. Urban, you have something to add.
This was an important matter, but we're comfortable with the language. If there's a dispute, we have confidence that we can resolve it with adult conversation between the regulators. Ultimately, you are correct, Mr. Chairman. There are protections. If you have to go to court, we're prepared to do that. But we are sufficiently comfortable with the bill, but we will re-examine it in deference to our industry colleague. But at this point, Waste Management is entirely comfortable with the PRA provisions of the bill.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Other questions?
I move the bill as amended.
There's a motion as amended. Other interested senators? You may close, Mr. Williams.
Just respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Assistant, please call the roll.
Item 18, AB 901 by Assemblymember Gordon. The motion is due pass as amended and refer to Committee on Appropriations. Senators Wykowski?
Aye.
Wykowski, aye. Gaines? No. Gaines, no. Bates? Hill? Jackson? Leno? Aye. Leno, aye. Pavley? Pavley, aye. 3-1.
Okay, we'll keep the roll open. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you,
Give my
Senators.
best to Assemblymember Gordon. Item number 8, AB 385, Assemblymember Chu.
This is just an FYI.
Oh, yes.
Shall I wait? I'm just going back and forth to committees.
I'll be quick, Senator.
Okay. Go ahead, please. This is item number 8, again, 385.
Well, good afternoon, Mr. Chair and Senators. Today I'm here to present my district bill, AB 385. First, I'd like to mention that it is my intention to request from the Office of the Ledge Counsel to a change to the title to reflect the true spirit of the legislation in creating the South Bay Older Stakeholder Group. I would like to clarify that the intention of AB 385 is not to target one operator, as there are numerous older sources that exist in the area, such as a composting facility and a water treatment plant. After I introduced the AB 385, I was happy to see the stakeholders group convened in April. This bill will codify the stakeholders group. Currently, they call themselves the South Bay Alders Stakeholder Group, which will address all older sources in around City of Milpitas, City of South Fremont, North San Jose, as well as City of Santa Clara. This bill was drafted as a result of my office receiving ongoing older complaints from the residents of these cities. AB 385 is necessary to address the various older issues in a more expedited manner, improving communication and give a voice to the people. It is also important to reiterate that the orders are real and severe, and it's important to find a way to let those landfill and the water treatment plant be coexist with the residents there, to make sure that we provide a good quality of life for the residents there. And the purpose of AB 385 is not to interfere with the request to increase the height of the landfill, but to give the residents a forum to communicate their opinions. It is appropriate for the state to do due diligence in addressing those various older issues, as the problem affect an unusually large area that encompasses multiple cities and at least 2 counties. There are many advantages in codifying the current stakeholder group. First, by codifying the bill, AB 385 ensures timely and open communication between the stakeholder group and the public. It will create a public process for residents to voice their concerns. This bill will provide better public notification of meetings and increase the attendance. Thirdly, better oversight of the stakeholders group. AB 385 will ensure that the group will continue to meet They have convened their first meeting in April, and just as of yesterday, I was talking to the operator of one of the facilities, and they are having difficulty to get the second meeting going in July because they involved with so many different agencies. So hoping that codifying that we will ensure that the group will continue to meet. So the advantage of codifying the current stakeholder group really outweigh the costs. I know there will be some costs involved in this process. So I will respectfully ask for your support. And with me today, we have Milpitas City Engineer Steve Machida, who can assist in providing a local perspective on this issue, and also a resident from Fremont, Lily May, to testify. Thank you very much.
Mr. Machida, please proceed.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Senators, thank you very much. Steve Machida, City Engineer for the City of Milpitas. As you may be aware, the cities or the communities of Milpitas, Fremont, Newark, and in North San Jose actually have been suffering a certain amount of odor problems within the region. What we see is Assemblyman Chu's bills actually provides us an avenue to actually encourage and exchange data of all the stakeholders within the region to really solve the odor problem. As Assemblyman Chu had talked about is, the stakeholder odor group has met. We had the kickoff meeting in April. We do anticipate meeting here shortly within the next few weeks. However, I do want to point out that the stakeholder group, there is really no legal requirement that we actually meet. Basically, if the group were to decide to disband or a particular stakeholder decide not to actually participate anymore, we really wouldn't gain that momentum. And so what we see as this bill would actually do is provide that incentive to actually keep everyone at the table to move forward with the resolution of the odors within the region. And so therefore, we strongly encourage an aye vote on this bill.
Council member.
Thank you, Senator Wachowski. It's a pleasure to join you all today. I'm just here in support for the citizens who are coming here from my city to voice their concerns. And I know that I, too, had received numerous calls regarding this issue and have had the opportunity to also meet with some other local officials to share these concerns. And so that's why I'm here today. There are quite a few citizens who are actually going to come and share their opinions.
All right, well, let's hear others in support of AB 385. If you'd like to come in and state your name and residence and your position.
Hello, my name is Eng-Lu Chen, and I am a Milpitas resident. I represent myself, and I support this bill so my voice can be heard but not ignored. And I am one of those get the suffering but not the benefits. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
My name is Jennifer Stoffes, Milpitas residents, and I support the new bill, AB 385. I think this bill can prevent absolute power abuse. And also, for currently, only San Jose City is in charge about Newbie Island's expansion issue, and which is, not fair to all the residents around the landfill, which is Milpitas City and Fremont, Santa Clara, even though Newark residents. So that's why we think this bill can let all the citizens' voice be heard.
Thank you.
And also...
No, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. For now, only the city of San Jose in charge. They have interest conflicts because they have monetary gains from the Newbie Island landfill. So, yeah, that's all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next witness?
Chairman Winkowski. My name is Jim Lee, and I'm a resident of Milpitas, City of Milpitas. I come here to support this bill. The reason is this bill gives us a very good legal start point to solve a unique problem in our community, as we have suffered from this odor issue for a long time, and we really couldn't find a effective and fair solution to solve this problem. And currently, the decision makers they make decisions, and then they benefit from their decision, and so it's the people who actually, the residents who suffer from the decision, and they have no way of saying or having their voice heard. So this bill will give them a fair channel and a chance to speak out in this decision-making process. Thank you.
Okay. Next.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Awa Zhu. I have been living in Milpitas for over 10 years. That means I have been the victim of stinky air for over 10 years. So I'm here to ask you to support AB 385 to make our voice heard. Thank you.
Next.
Hi, my name is Robin Chen. We live almost 3 miles away from the Newbie landfill, and we're still bothered by the smell from time to time. When we were watching the NBA Finals, the stench from the landfill really ruined the game, and we had to get up to close all the windows. And ridiculously, Newbie Republic Services conducted an odor study in which they compared the total sum of methane emission over the entire area and concluded that San Francisco Bay is the main source of odor. And we think they forgot to measure the Pacific Ocean, and the ocean would pose an even bigger methane threat. And sadly, the city of Milpitas and the nearby Fremont have no jurisdictional power over the landfill and other odor generators, and the residents don't really have enough protection. The current odor stakeholder group is started by odor generators. I'm afraid we cannot trust them after what they did in the past. And so how can you put them in authority? We support this bill because it gives us a channel to voice our concerns. Bay Area Air Quality Management District has the expertise, and they have shown genuine interest in the public's concerns. We welcome their leadership role in the proposed committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Mindy Wu. I'm a Milpitas resident, and I hope you support this bill because all those victims who is powerless, and hope you can support to help us. Thank you.
Thank you. And last.
Fei Jun Song, 10 years resident in North San Jose, and I voted you each and every time in the last 10 years, Bob. And the smell problem is getting worse and worse each and every years in the last 10 years. I don't know who contributed to the smell problem, and I went to different state agents, different city councils, San Jose City Council, Milpitas City Council. In the last 10 years, the issue went nowhere. Therefore, I think I fully support Mr. Chu's proposal to create an interest group of stakeholders sitting together on the same table. And that's the only way I can see, based on my 10 years experience, the only way I can see the problem can be solved before I die. Thank you.
I appreciate we'll hear from the opposition now. I appreciate my colleagues' indulgence. This is my district that these people, members of the public come from, so I allowed, rather than just having 2 witnesses, if there's opposition, I'd like to hear 2 witnesses against. and then just other people pick the two and then just say your affiliation. You can come up. Yeah, come over here. All right, who's first? Please.
Don Litchfield. I'm the Northern California Area Environmental Manager and Assistant General Manager for Newbie Island, and appreciate this opportunity to speak. We do have just a few concerns, but in general, we like the direction that this odor control is going. There are multiple sources of odors in the South Bay area. Newbie has been one of those sources, and we've been working hard to remediate those. I would like to clarify that the South Bay Odor Stakeholder Group, which was formed with the community, industry peers, regulators, did have their first meeting on July 30th, which went very well, and we have implemented a lot of actions that were decided during that meeting. We do have our next meeting already set for July 30th at 1:30 to 3:30 there at the Heritage Beverly Hotel in the city of Milpitas. Cal Recycle has decided to join the group, as well as the Air Board, Water Board, Fish and Wildlife, and most of the local industries in the area. And we'll have additional good items to report on and continue to do our good work. The good news is the majority of the odor issues in the South Bay area have been resolved. Since January, we've been actively working and identifying those issues in the area. We did have odor studies in progress, not only at our own facility, but in and around the area. And that provided viable information for the stakeholder group to take the next steps. Odor complaints have dropped off dramatically. There's less than 1 or 2 odor complaints a day, unless I come and speak at a committee, and there'll be odor complaints tomorrow, unfortunately, but that's kind of the nature of the business. But the good news is we've stepped up the plate at Newbie Island. It's a materials recovery facility, a compost facility, a landfill, and a hauling company. It's a very important regional facility to the area. And we're doing our part now, as demonstrated by the lacking of complaints to date. We've also engaged our industry neighbors to do their part as well, and there's been significant steps that have been taken place recently and are on the books to continue. And I think that the improvements will continue throughout the year. We do plan to meet quarterly, not semi-annually. We have taken this very seriously, working with the city of Milpitas and the other residents in the area. I've attended over 50 meetings and tours over the past 6 months, educating the public. I think what we found was, unfortunately, there wasn't enough outreach with the public to describe and educate really what was all involved in the odor issues in the South Bay area, and I think we've done a better job of that now. It's not a black box for them. They know what's going on, and we do have resources and outlets now to be able to share that information on a seasonal basis. So I think we've made a lot of steps since earlier in the year. Thank you.
Next.
Mr. Chair and members, Kelly Astor. I'm appearing on behalf of the California Refuse Recycling Council. We are not opposed to the bill, but wanted to take this opportunity to briefly comment on its direction. With all due respect to the author and those that are supporting the measure, it seems to me the bill has already served its purpose. You've got this group, they've formed, the steps are being taken. As the Waste Industry Trade Association, our concern is, on the one hand, and we often support legislation that comes from the legislature, it says do more. And you talk about this facility, there's recycling going on, there's composting going on, it's not just a landfill. This is all part of the holistic solution we have to solid waste disposal. There's still a component we're going to throw away, but the rest of it, we're doing everything we can. This industry has been the primary mover for a lot of the recycling gains that have occurred. There is an impact to these facilities. Odor problems are vital to try to avoid, but at the same time, we're being told to do more site. We got to cite facilities to manage society's problem, and then we're singled out in legislation like this. I very much prefer the approach that this ad hoc group is taking that says we're going to look holistically at all the sources and not single out waste industry in particular, and that was our concern with the particular measure.
Okay. Others in opposition? Seeing none, let's return to the committee. Questions of the author? Ms. Bates?
Just, it would, excuse me, it would seem with the establishment of this new stakeholder group and more response to the constituents that you are on your way to accomplishing what your bill does. I'm reluctant to support it because I think local control is going to do a better job in immediate response to the problem. And we had that, by the way, in my community with a road that was being built, and it's going through a landfill. So immediately there were huge odor problems, and a stakeholder group came together and immediately started addressing those. So I hear a commitment from the industry and the stakeholders to do that very thing. So I would be reluctant to support this. I think if they don't do what they say they're going to do, that there's always next year and an opportunity to rein in if they're not responding to what is a serious issue for the residents in that locale.
You may close.
Thank you very much. Again, this is really not a bill to single out any operators. This is really a bill that we can codify the groups so we'll be able to create a public process. I think I'll just emphasize the public process to notify the residents and for the residents to come and voice their concern. And this bill will ensure that the group continue to meet. I'm hoping that we don't have to wait a year or wait 2 years to come back and initiate something that could be done in the coming year. So again, I ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you. And as you know, and as members of the public know, my colleagues, I was on the Fremont Planning Commission, the Fremont City Council, as the assembly seat before Assemblymember Chu, and I've been aware of the engaged in the problems with the odors in the South Bay. And as we've pointed out in the analysis, the South Bay Odor Stakeholders Group, I think as the industry has indicated, has won. And so have you, Assemblymember, in providing a forum for industry and for members of the public to come. We're here today talking about the concerns that people have in the community and moving to resolve those odor issues in the South San Francisco Bay. The group is designed to take a comprehensive look, as we said, referred to as holistic. And that's just not for Newbie, it's for all the facilities, as you've indicated your intent to amend the bill, and look at all the possible regions. You know, we're in the business of looking at these holistic resolutions because we produce trash and we want to compost and we want to have all these things done in our community. I mean, we have to take care of our own, the waste that we produce. And we need to let this group meet. I'm pleased with the report that we have and continue to meet and report out and encourage all the people who travel to Sacramento today and local stakeholders to get involved. Unfortunately, AB 385, while having the best intentions, and we've talked about this before this hearing, may actually do more harm than good. By codifying the entity in statute, it may actually stifle the free flow of opinions and ideas and delay the process. In addition, from a strict policy point of view, we legislators have to really tread carefully before we codify each and every local concern into state law. Our rules and regulations and our state responsibilities would be inundated with local concerns without first allowing the local solutions. And I think I applaud your efforts. I applaud the South Bay Odor Stakeholders Group for the work that they've done and for the attention, as we've even heard from the opposition. Let them do their work. And let's come up with in a comprehensive manner, and they can report back to you and me before legislation we take any legislative action. So I'll be voting no on the bill today if there is a motion. But otherwise, seeing no motion, I will ask when at the end of the hearing, or we'll close the hearing right now, and if there's a motion brought up when we're fully assembled, we'll move forward. But thank you for your time.
Thank you.